There's a 3-step formula. Casinos in Las Vegas use it. The social media apps in your pocket use it. And, in its darkest form, drug cartels use it. This isn't a metaphor. It's literally the same psychological scheme, verified in a lab. And over the next 24 minutes, I'm not just going to show it to you, I'm going to show you the exact moment it activates inside you. For decades we were told a simple story: addiction is a character flaw. Weak people, undisciplined people, people who couldn't control themselves. It's a comfortable story because it puts all the responsibility in one place, the individual. But that story has a problem. It doesn't explain why people with iron willpower, Olympic athletes, executives, scientists, fall into exactly the same patterns as anyone else in front of a slot machine, a notification, or a substance. If willpower were the variable that mattered, the pattern should be random. It isn't. It's astonishingly predictable. And where there's a predictable pattern, there's a mechanism. And where there's a mechanism, it can be designed for good, or to be exploited. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz did something that would forever change how we understand desire. He connected electrodes to individual dopamine neurons in primate brains and measured, literally, when they fired. Conventional wisdom said, dopamine fires when you receive pleasure. Like when you eat something delicious, or win something. The data said something completely different. Dopamine neurons didn't fire strongly when the monkey received the expected reward. They fired strongly when the reward was uncertain, and especially when it turned out better than expected. If the reward was exactly as expected, dopamine barely moved, even if the outcome was still pleasurable. This is called reward prediction error. And it's probably the most important, least known discovery in modern neuroscience, because it completely changes the system's target. It's not chasing pleasure. It's chasing uncertainty, resolved in your favor. It's chasing surprise. That detail, seemingly tiny, is the hinge everything else in this documentary swings on. 1978, Simon Fraser University, Canada. Psychologist Bruce Alexander looks at the standard addiction experiments of his day and notices something nobody had questioned. They all used solitary rats, in tiny metal cages, with nothing to do but press a lever for morphine. And, of course, those rats drugged themselves to death. Official conclusion: the drug causes addiction. Alexander asked an uncomfortable question: what if the drug wasn't the problem? What if it was the cage? He built Rat Park, a large space with other rats, toys, ramps, room to run and mate. A home, not a cell. He gave them access to the same morphine. The Rat Park rats ignored it almost completely. This wasn't a lab error. It was replicated again and again. And the implication is devastating: the same chemical compound, the same dose, the same rat brain, produces devastating addiction in isolation, and almost none in community. The drug was never the lone villain of the story. Isolation was. If isolation is the fuel, someone, somewhere, learned how to build the perfect cage. And they built it in Las Vegas. Anthropologist Natasha Dow Schüll spent 15 years inside casinos, interviewing slot machine designers and the gamblers themselves. Her central finding shatters another myth: compulsive gamblers don't play to win money. They play to enter a state they themselves call the zone, a trance where time, the body, and money stop existing. Only the rhythm remains. And that rhythm is no accident. The exact speed of the spin. The near misses, mathematically programmed to feel like failure by inches. The total absence of clocks. The floor layout, designed so you never know how long you've been there. There are entire teams of mathematicians and behavioral engineers whose only objective, measured in internal KPIs, is a single metric: time on device. It's not an oversight. It's the product. This is where the documentary stops talking about the past and starts talking about your pocket. The same behavioral engineering playbook that Las Vegas perfected migrated, almost unchanged, into the tech industry. Author Eyal formalized it into a 4-phase model used today by the most successful apps on the planet. Phase 1, the trigger. A notification, or simply boredom, an internal feeling that pushes you to act. Phase 2, the action. You swipe, you open, you tap. Phase 3, the variable reward. And here's the exact heart of the system: you never know what you'll find there. Might be nothing new. There might be the video that changes your entire mood. It's, mathematically, the exact same structure as a slot machine lever. Phase 4, the investment. You post a photo, follow someone, build a streak. Each investment ties you a little tighter to the cycle. And this isn't theory. B.F. Skinner had already demonstrated it in the 1930s with pigeons, a variable ratio. Reinforcement schedule, a reward delivered after an unpredictable number of actions, produces the highest response rate and the greatest resistance to extinction of any reinforcement schedule ever measured. More addictive than a guaranteed reward. Uncertainty isn't a flaw in the system. It's the headline feature. Let's go to the numbers, because numbers are where this system stops sounding like a theory and starts sounding like a measurable epidemic. Average global screen time hovers around 6 hours and 38 minutes a day. On the phone alone, more than 4.5 hours. The average user unlocks their phone 96 times a day. That's, on average, once every 10 waking minutes. Nearly half of American adults describe themselves, in their own words, as addicted to their phone. And nearly 8 out of 10 say social media is specifically the most addictive app they have installed. In the youngest generation, daily screen time exceeds 9 hours. And nearly 7 out of 10 admit it openly. This isn't happening by cultural accident. It's happening because the same system we saw in Natasha Dow Schüll's casino and in Skinner's lab now lives, AI optimized, in billions of pockets, running 24 hours a day. So does this have a solution, or is it too late? Here's the good news, and it's not an empty motivational line, it's directly what the science we just walked through teaches us. If Rat Park proved anything, it's that the antidote to isolation is real connection, not simulated connection. Physical community, purpose, activities that reward effort, not swiping. If the hook model proved anything, it's that you can dismantle it exactly where it was built, remove the trigger. Turn off non-essential notifications, insert deliberate friction into the action, move the app off your home screen. And above all, become conscious of the exact moment the variable reward appears, because the system loses much of its power the instant you recognize it while it's happening. This was never about willpower. It never was. It's about redesigning your environment, the same way someone, in some office building, redesigned it to trap you in the first place. Next time you feel that pull, check, swipe, tap, you won't feel it the same way. You'll see the mechanism behind it. And that, exactly that, is what we do on this channel, show you the hidden signal behind what everyone else takes for granted. If you want to keep seeing the system behind the system, you know where to find us.